We've got
Yeah.
Smexen on Warrior, Snuts on Fire Mage, and Sea-Doo on Resto Shaman going up against Team SoaR with Joxy on Resto Shaman, Mame on Arms Warrior, and Evangeline on that Retribution Paladin. How do you think this matchup's going to go?
I was gonna say I think Fire Mage Warrior is one of the strongest compositions against cleave setups. Obviously, you have all the peels coming out from the Fire Mage, Polymorph, Frost Nova, Dragon's Breath, very good consistent damage. That's pretty easy to get off. Fire Mages are also really hard to kill, and then you have a Warrior. I mean, if he's just sitting in defensive stance, it's gonna be hard for him to die as well. And I think Warrior Mage pressure is so high that I don't think that Mame and Evangeline are gonna be able to just train down CD the whole game. So I think Method came out with a good, strong composition. We'll have to see how they deal with the pressure coming out from SoaR, because it is obviously really high. We saw last series from them.
Yep, Smexen charging in the middle of the map, trying to slow down the assault. Leap Fear over onto Joxy, charge back over onto Mame. They are going to be going after Mame here. They're playing aggressive onto Sea-Doo, just feared him up for now. Are they making a swap? They swap over onto Smexen. Both Warriors under fire right now, down to 50% HP. These Shamans are going to have a hard time dealing with the pressure. Joxy gets locked out on his heel. This could spell trouble for Mame, but at the same time, Sea-Doo just getting tunneled down, caught into that half stun, down to 50% HP. It's just a dog pile of damage at the moment. Spirit Link gets dropped by Sea-Doo. A lot of damage coming out from SoaR. Full Hex onto Snuts, gets dispelled right away by Sea-Doo. Good instant dispel, getting Snuts out back into the battle. It looks like Joxy is playing very far back over there. Smexen getting chopped up. Heroic leap over onto Sea-Doo. It looks like Mame and Evangeline just want to go aggressive onto Sea-Doo. Charge connects. They're trying to stay on him. They should be able to. Offensive die by the sword. Both offensive and defensive. Both Warriors just taking the heat this game right now. Sea-Doo dealing with it very well at the moment. He needs to try and get some healing surges onto Smexen, but he's just getting pressured so hard. Smexen and Mame are just chopping at each other, man. It's a smart fight. Who's going to go down first? Smexen leaps away. Charge connects. 20% HP remaining, looking to finish him off. Sea-Doo barely getting these healing surges up to top Smexen off. Now Joxy needs to get some heals going, gets those healing surges going. Eventually bubbles offensively to try and keep this game going. Smexen down to 20% HP. Will he fall? There's no Spirit Link remaining. He charges into the capacitor totem. Charge comes out from Mame. Colossus smashes out. Sea-Doo spamming out the heals, desperately trying to keep Smexen alive right now. In the meantime, though, Snuts has gotten a full polymorph over onto Joxy. They're trying to take Mame down at the same time. They might be able to if Snuts can keep the CC chain going. He gets another polymorph. Does he have anything to follow it up? Doesn't look like there's anything available. Smexen is on the run. He's trying to stay away from Sea-Doo. He knows he's going to get smashed if he gets into melee range. And at this point, what can Sea-Doo do?
Smexen getting so low, though. The full fear onto Joxy. Mame also getting so low. Getting that Blessing of Protection immediately comes off. I believe Snuts or CD pulled it off, but Smexen gets caught in the crossfire. Both Warriors just pressure down so much during that game. We saw some beautiful reflected. What is the lightning surge totem or whatever? Having a major brain fart right now.
Counter-Strike totem.
Yeah, Counter-Strike totem. There
Dude,
you go.
the names are so hard.
Yeah, there's so many new names this expansion. It's gonna take me a while to get used to saying them all while shoutcasting. But yeah, the Counter-Strike totems were beautifully placed that game by both Joxy and Sea-Doo. If we look at actually the damage done from both of them, it was a little bit. Mame doing most of the damage that game with 11 million. Compared to Smexen's 8 million. Snut's actually doing a really good job with crowd control, but it just wasn't enough. Sea-Doo does want to sit on that pillar. It's going to be harder for Evangeline and Mame to reconnect because of how wide the pillar is. It's much harder, especially when you're snared, to connect onto a target like a Shaman who's kiting a lot and has like sort of a speed bonus from Ghost Wolf.
I'm just going to follow Sea-Doo's point of view because I feel like his positioning is going to dictate his team's momentum. If he's unable to like kite effectively and have Joxy exposed, then Snuts is going to have a hard time getting CC, and they're just going to fall more and more behind the constant damage coming out from Evangeline and Mame. So let's see if Sea-Doo can carry his team here in game number 2. The gates are about to open, and I would imagine that SoaR is going to charge in here very heavily. No, actually, okay, now they're charging in. It looks like they want to get onto Sea-Doo, but they get feared up on their way in, and a full pot in front of Evangeline. Great CC, and Sea-Doo's just mounted up. He's just laughing at his opponents right now, staying in the middle of the map, and Mame is in so much trouble because of that start. He's down to 30% HP. He fears up the DPS. He leaps over to try and connect onto Smexen instead, but he's so dangerously low. Down to 20% with die by the sword up, barely parrying the attacks in time. Joxy needs to get some heals going. He drops that Earthen Shield totem down. Mame moves out of the Earthen Shield totem. That's not going to absorb any damage. Evangeline's trying to make something happen here with his Avenging Wrath. Mame charges over onto Sea-Doo. They're going to make a swap, but at the same time, Smexen swaps over onto Joxy. It might just be a smork race on the healers. I don't think Smexen's going to win it, though. There's too much pressure out from Evangeline. Sea-Doo's caught into the full stun. He's He's down to 30%. It looks like Snuts is trying to peel. He goes for the polymorph, but he gets interrupted on the polymorph by Joxy. Joxy's in trouble, though. Smexon leaps over to finish him off. He pummels him on his cast. Blessing and Protection down at 30%. Snuts tries to spell steal it off. Doesn't manage to get it, and Joxy will survive for now.
Yeah, that whole Blessing Protection is going to sit. CD's still getting dangerously low. Does get some run-casted heals off right now. He's going to top himself off with his cooldowns, but it's just so difficult for him to actually keep himself at high HP. The full sheep, though, going out on Joxy. Mame could be in a little bit of trouble right now. Smexon using that offensive cooldown, giving his team crit. Mame down to around 20% HP. Joxy still caught into a polymorph. This could be it, dipping down into that execute range. 2% HP. He is going to go down. And Method just had such a good start at that beginning of the game. It took so long for Mame and Evangeline to actually connect onto him. Smexon throwing out a beautiful fear. Sidu making sure he was mounted and running away. Just much better crowd control, much better strategy coming out from Method that game. And they were able to sort of deflect the opening onset from SoaR and get a little bit ahead. And I think that's what ultimately ended up winning the game for them. SoaR just wasn't able to get enough pressure and momentum at the start of the game. From Method, Snuts is the only one that's running a PvP trinket. It's likely just because he wants to get out of the Warrior Fear. If Mame throws out his Intimidating Shout, Snuts wants to be able to get out of that so he can start peeling as much as possible. Sidu's going to be running Relentless. Joxy does have a PvP trinket as well. He's just getting CC'd for the most part, so being able to, on command, break some CC and break up that opening pressure, it's going to be nice for him as well.
Yeah, let's see if Snuts can get crowd control on this map, as Joxy will have a pillar of line of sight most of the game. Evangeline charging in right away, popping his Avenging Wrath onto Sidu. Charge connects up from Mame as well. They want to go on Sidu. He drops his Earth and Shield Totem. That will be absorbing a lot of damage. They're trying to counter pressure Mame for overextending. They've got him down to about half HP. Joxy spamming out the heals, but he needs to avoid the polymorphs. He's doing a good job line of sighting with that pillar, coming out now and casting some healing surges. Sidu's dealing with the pressure pretty well himself. He's able to get away distance from Mame at least. Evangeline's trying to solo him, but I really don't think he's going to. Maybe he will. Blood Elf Silence. Sidu's down to 40%. He's caught into that full Fist of Justice. Colossus smashes up. They're looking to finish off Sidu. This could be the Spirit Link out from him. He's trying to cast, gets those healing surges off with the Calming Water or a Mastery. He should be able to top himself off, and now Mame is getting punished for the aggression play. Mame is trying to survive down to 33% HP. This could be his die by the sword. He's choosing not to trade it out. I guess Joxy feels comfortable saving him here with these healing surges. Good communication to not use that die by the sword. Definitely SoaR getting ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. Snuts landing a Dragon's Breath sheet there onto Joxy, which kind of landed that pressure. Joxy ended up trinketing it pretty much instantly, so I'm sure that's why Mame had to save his die by the sword, because if they had to use all of those cooldowns, that could be it. Snuts actually going in for the Dragon's Breath sheep. Mame doing an excellent job coming back, making sure to interrupt Snuts. If he had landed that sheep, that could have easily have been the game. Smexon and Snuts want to get aggressive, though. Onto Mame, down to 20% HP. Sidu getting hodged up as well. Snuts now getting targeted down, having to go into his first Ice Block. Remember, he only has one Ice Block in this game as he is running that double blink. He comes out of that a little bit early. Mame trying to reconnect onto him. Snuts could be in a little bit of trouble using that run cast polymorph, trying to land CC onto Joxy. Throws Evangeline into a triple DR sheep. Joxy trying to cross the map right now. The Stormbolt going out onto Snuts. Joxy actually getting feared up. Mame could be in a little bit of trouble for the time being. Sidu trying to get away, actually gets locked out on his heels. Smexon a little bit low too right now. Snuts doesn't have. Oh my goodness gracious! And Joxy finally is able to get in there as Mame gets bursted down and throw out that Spirit Link Totem.
Yeah, Mame and Joxy had to overlap defensive cooldowns, and Sidu follows up with a Capacitor Totem. Mame could be in a bit of trouble. They're just trying to all in onto Sidu. They have nothing left. They may as well just give it their all. Sidu caught in the middle of the map right now. Evangeline and Mame are both connecting. This could be the Spirit Link out from Sidu. Does he choose to use? He does trade out the cooldown to answer the Avenging Wrath, and actually that Avenging Wrath might be able to just push through that Spirit Link. Smexon getting swapped too. He has no die by the sword. He's down to 20%. Sidu's caught into the stun. This could just be it for Smexon. Snuts with the Miracle Dragon's Breath, but the Capacitor Totem out from Joxy stuns everyone. Smexon's down at 8% HP. One more execute takes the game, and SoaR lead 2-1 against Method in this best of 5. Definitely the small map paying off for the melee cleave composition. Looks like Sidu's trying to make something going with that counter-strike, but they're completely aware of it. Just going to kill that counter-strike, not allow any chance of any sort of comeback. And Sidu will be going down now 2-1. Map selection for Team Method.
Yeah, and I really like what SoaR did that game. Anytime Sidu got away from Mame or Evangeline, they just swapped targets. So whoever could be on Sidu was on Sidu, but if Mame couldn't get there, he made sure to keep the pressure up on Snuts and Smexon and force them to play a little bit defensively. It's really strong. Shadow Priests as well as Feral Druids have incredible off-healing. When I fight against this comp, it reminds me of like triple healer setup. It just seems like if one of these people, like you need all three of them crowd controlled, or you need a tremendous amount of pressure, or no one's going to die. So
yeah, Like Pharaoh Druids, if they're able to swap around to every target, get their bleeds going, and Moonfires on everyone, the spread pressure is crazy. And I feel like spread pressure comps aren't really played that much right now because you just get zerged down by the melee, but they're still strong. If you can survive, the spread pressure is insane, and Shadow Priests are one of the highest contributors to that spread pressure damage. So I'm really excited to see how Method can perform. Obviously, Snuts is going to be under the most pressure as the main target as a Shadow Priest, but overall, I don't think SoaR would be expecting this, so maybe Method can get a surprise win.
Yep, surprise them. We'll have to see what they do. Mame, Evangeline, and Joxy once again running in. It looks like actually Beanslayer is the target of choice. The full Hex going out onto Snuts, the Hodge onto Sea-Doo. A lot of counter CC going out. Snuts actually using his PI right there to try to get aggressive. Mame taking a little bit of damage to bash out onto Joxy. Looks like Joxy's getting swapped to right now. The silence coming out from Snuts. Sea-Doo also taking quite a bit of damage, trying to fake out the interrupts. Joxy, Mame are low as well as Beanslayer and Sea-Doo. Sea-Doo getting DR Hodged up there. And a lot of pressure coming out from both teams early on.
Oh, that's a cool strategy. Snuts is running mind control, so he might try and mind control the melee off the bridge. That's an interesting strategy choice, but he hasn't been able to do it really just yet. It looks like the pressure is in favor, though, of Method. Mame and Joxy are rotting down. A full Hex on Evangeline. Joxy's desperately trying to get some counter pressure with the Counter-Strike Totem. It's still up. They do manage to kill it down to 20%. Beanslayer and Snuts are just annihilating Team SoaR right now. Joxy gets stunned up. What are they going to do? Eventually needs to get that stun. Sanctuary comes out, saves Joxy a couple seconds. He needs to get some casted heals with this Ascendance. Mame is forced to use his die by the sword. Snuts and Beanslayer doing so much pressure. It looks like Eventually is trying to strike back onto Beanslayer. Got him down to 50%, but Sea-Doo's ready for it. Tops him off. A Hex comes up from Joxy onto Sea-Doo with a stun cross CC. Good cross CC from SoaR to try and turn this around, but even with that, it's not enough. Snuts silences Joxy. Joxy trinkets out to get stunned on his trinket. He's down to 16% HP. Will he be able to survive? The Void Torrent just destroying him. Joxy's holding on to that Spear Link as long as possible. Joxy has balls of steel right now. How is he holding on to that? He's just casting the heals. In the meantime, they've managed to force the Spirit Link out from Sea-Doo. Maybe Team SoaR can turn this around.
Yeah, Beanslayer actually has no more charges of Survival Instinct, so if they connect onto him, it could be very, very scary. Snuts still sitting pretty at full HP, though. Joxy still hasn't fully recovered. Beanslayer able to reconnect onto him, gets caught into that full Stormbolt, down to around 40% HP. Instead of throwing out the Power Word Shield, trying his best with the full bash onto Joxy. The Double Fear going out onto Mame and Evangeline. Joxy is going to go down. Basically constant pressure from Method from start to finish. Mame also dipping dangerously low. Looks like Evangeline and Mame trying to make a 2v3 happen. That doesn't look like it's going to. Snuts throwing out some clutch fears and mind controls that game, and actually forced Evangeline's bubble, the life swap, coming out as well. So at the end of all of that, Snuts still had his life swap available if he needed it. And I feel like that was a really good adaptation by Method, busting out this composition, and it worked out very well for them. We see SoaR obviously playing double Shaman, so they're playing that Turbo Cleave, the Enhancement Shaman, as well as the Arms Warrior, but they've opted to have Joxy on that Resto Shaman as well. So they're going to have a lot of purges, they're going to have a lot of totem utility. That's going to be up to Snuts and Beanslayer to make sure they're destroying all those totems. They could be throwing out the double Counter-Strike totems, double cap totems, so have to keep an eye out on that. We'll have to see how Joxy is able to heal through this pressure. I mean, he's not. SoaR's going to have a little bit more damage with that Enhancement Shaman, but they're not going to have any of the defensive utility that a Retribution Paladin brung. And we saw Joxy have such a hard time healing through it last time.
Viable is playing the Bloodlust. Let's see what he can get done here. Mame, of course, is going to be his primary Bloodlust target. Looks like they want to get on Sea-Doo, maybe. Sea-Doo's playing very far back. He's in a good position. He's going to kite them into the room. Now they're going on to Snuts, the Shadow Priest, as I would expect. Beanslayer slowing down the assault by stunning up Inviable, and now immediately leaping onto Joxy, trying to get that spread pressure going, but Mame leaps for a fear onto Sea-Doo, charge over onto Beanslayer, trying to make a bit of a swap instead, and Beanslayer's already down to 30% HP. Is he going to be able to make it out alive? There's just so much pressure coming out from Inviable and Mame right now. Snuts getting swapped to! Oh my god, goodbye health bar. Dispersion comes out, barely in time to stay alive, but they switch the aggression immediately onto Beanslayer. Sea-Doo desperately spamming out the heals, has managed to stabilize for now, but how much longer? That next Bloodlust coming out for Inviable in probably around 30 seconds could just be the end of the match.
You have Joxy getting pressure down now, fully dotted up by Beanslayer. It gets actually locked out there. He does have that stone shield totem up right now, so he's going to be taking a little bit less damage. But Mame and Viable and Joxy all getting rotted down from the pressure of Method. Sea-Doo actually getting hexed up there. It does break Joxy still hovering around 50% HP, getting out some of those healing surges, is going to be able to top himself up. Beanslayer taking a little bit of damage. He does still have 1 tick of survival instincts left. It's going to reduce incoming damage by 50%. So it's a huge defensive cooldown. Whenever he gets scared next, he can use that. But Snuts still able to just free cast dots right now. Joxy doing a great job this game dispelling. I think that's very crucial against the Shadow Priest. Now sort of charging in. He wants to make sure everyone's getting dotted up. Lands a huge double fear. Maim actually having to use that dive out the sword, hovering around 40% HP right now. Joxy caught into a hex. The silence onto Inviolable. Beautiful cross DC coming out. Snuts doing a tremendous amount of damage right now. Maim wants to get aggressive. He's using his battle cry to increase.
Here comes Bloodlust.
The double cap totem. Beanslayer taking a little bit of damage. Uses that survival instincts tick. So he is going to live for the time being. Sea-Doo trying to top him off while he can. The fear going out on the Sea-Doo though. Beanslayer still taking quite a bit of damage. Maim actually using that avatar. He wants to get aggressive onto Beanslayer. The cap totem going out onto Sea-Doo as well. Beanslayer hovering at around 40% HP. Sea-Doo having a really hard time topping him off for the time being. Maim also taking a little bit of damage. Sea-Doo gets caught into the full hex. Gets dispelled actually by Beanslayer. That's what's going on. And it looks like Beanslayer is going to survive for the time being. But that enhancement shaman and warrior damage is so scary. The one Stormbolt brings him down to around 30% HP.
Yeah, Beanslayer's on the run. He's a very scared kitty cat right now. The next Bloodlust might just be the end of the match. Inviolable pops his Spirit Will. Snuts is looking for a fear. Lands a triple. Oh, baby. Maim's in a lot of trouble right now. If they can connect any CC, maybe a silence or a stun. Full bash onto Inviolable now. Maim popping his battle cry, trying to turn some pressure around, but a silence onto Joxy. Inviolable's now in trouble, rotting down to 29%. Will he be able to survive his Astral Shift? Doesn't look to be enough. Joxy needs to get some casted heals out. In the meantime, Beanslayer getting counter-pressured. Earthen Shield Totem comes out from Joxy. Beanslayer getting hunted down. He doesn't know whether or not to go aggressive or play defensively. He's caught into the Capacitor Totem stun. This might just be the end of the game. Is Bloodlust available? I imagine that's coming up pretty soon here. Beanslayer's doing his best to keep his counter pressure going. Counter-Strike Totem gets dropped. That's destroying Maim. They need to kill that. Kills that with the heroic throw. Well played from Maim. Now Counter-Strike down from Joxy. They need to kill that. Snuts kills that off. Good Counter-Strike Totem management. Bloodlust should be available. I would imagine that they're going to go pretty hard onto Beanslayer very shortly. They're trying to bait him behind the pillar. Will Beanslayer overextend and fall for the trap is the question. He's going pretty deep into enemy territory right now. They want to pull the trigger, but a full fear comes out from Snuts. They're trying to turn it around. Capacitor Totem onto Inviolable. Joxy dispels fear up from Maim. Bloodlust gets popped, and Beanslayer life swap barely in time, but a swap now over to Snuts. He disperses the swap. Nice play from Snuts. Method stays alive.
Yeah, Beanslayer still under a lot of pressure, though. Joxy as well as Sea-Doo down to around 10% mana. Joxy completely running on fumes for the time being. If Method can hold on just a little bit longer, and Inviolable and Maim both dangerously low. Avatar is going to be fading from Maim, so he's not going to have that additional damage. Beanslayer does have a tick of survival instincts that has come back up, so he's not going to be the best target. The triple fear coming out from Snuts, Inviolable and Maim. So low. The full hex out onto Joxy. Does get dispelled by Inviolable, but does he have the mana to keep them up? Earthen Shield Totem goes out onto Inviolable as well as Maim. Spirit Link Totem as well, so he's going to be able to stabilize their HP for now. The full Stormbolt going out on a Beanslayer. He's taking quite a bit of damage. Gets the Spirit Link from Sea-Doo, so he is going to be completely fine. And now Joxy actually has no mana left. Sea-Doo still at around 10% mana. The Bloodlust comes out. Double Cap Totem, though, coming out from Sea-Doo onto Maim and Inviolable. That might keep Beanslayer up. He still has that tick of survival instincts. Looks like he's going to use it. Joxy down to 20% HP. Snuts doing so much damage to him. Beanslayer connects and actually takes him down. And Method is going to take this series 3-2. And that was a ridiculously close game.
Wow. I did not expect that to go so back and forth like that. Every moment I'm just like, Bloodlust is there, Bloodlust is there, he's gonna die, he's gonna die.
Yeah.
And then Snuts is like, nope, I'll save you, dude. I got you. And Void Shift saves the day. A 1.8 million Void Shift. Meme.
So
oh my god, that's so much damage. How did he hit 1.8 million?